childhood friend of Puff's, hip-hop producer Tim Dog Patterson. He alleged that Janice, Diddy's mom, would often throw parties at Diddy's childhood home. He says that during the parties, it wasn't uncommon to walk into rooms where adults was having sex. I mean, that was just their normal. And the doc, when talking about the parties, Tim says, verbatim, "That's what we were privy to. This was what we were fed. Was it desensitized?"
You got to realize that, you know, he didn't get all this from his daddy, because he didn't know his daddy, even though they try to say his daddy was some big time drug dealer in the whole 9 yards. You understand? He didn't get this from his daddy.
The moment that newly leaked footage tied to Diddy hit the internet, the energy across social platforms shifted instantly. Folks weren't just surprised, they were stunned, confused, and racing to piece together what they were actually looking at. The clip didn't land like just another celebrity moment. It threw gasoline on years of rumors, quiet industry whispers, and long-buried tension that people always felt but could never fully prove. What made this leak different was the way it pushed the spotlight not only onto Diddy, but unexpectedly onto the people around him, especially his mother, whose name started floating through fan conversations before the dust even settled. Suddenly, questions people never thought they'd ask were being pushed front and center. How much did his family know? How long has this been going on? And why does this footage feel like the missing puzzle piece behind so many Hollywood stories that never made sense? The timing alone poured more fuel on the fire, coming right after documentaries, lawsuits, and behind-the-scenes testimonies were already heating up. So when this clip dropped, the streets weren't reacting to the footage alone. They were reacting to a timeline that finally felt like it was snapping into place. Every outlet, blog, gossip channel, and commentary space lit up instantly. Some people froze the footage frame by frame, trying to break down every shadow, angle, and background object to figure out who else might have been there. Others started comparing it to earlier claims from insiders who had hinted about rooms, events, and operations that Diddy allegedly ran with the type of secrecy usually reserved for political figures, not artists.
You gotta realize, man, you know, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also Ladies of the Night, a prostitution ring too, or these ladies was doing things other than modeling. This man was talking about that his mother could take her palms and bend over and put them down on the floor. Not bend over, but she could stand straight up and put her palms on the floor, bruh. He's saying that about his mother. Who describes any of their mother actions like that in a sexual way? And then, you know, I don't know how many dudes do kiss their mother in their mouth when they 50, 60 years old or something like that.
Meanwhile, longtime industry workers started posting cryptic messages. Nothing direct, but enough to make viewers feel like this wasn't new to them at all. And that's exactly where the story started to twist. The internet could feel that this wasn't just shocking because it was leaked, but because so many people seemed unfazed by it. That raised even deeper questions. What did insiders witness? What was ignored? And what wasn't spoken out of fear, power, or loyalty? As the debate kept spreading, the name that kept resurfacing wasn't an ex, an artist, a rival, or a manager. It was Diddy's mom. The internet didn't drag her in for drama. Her name surfaced because people noticed patterns. Every major moment in Diddy's career, from successes to scandals, seemed to have her presence lingering around the edges. Folks started pulling old videos, interviews, family photos, charity events, and public appearances. They weren't trying to villainize her. They were trying to understand whether she was a quiet witness to everything or someone who simply had no idea what was unfolding in her son's empire. And because no one knows the truth yet, the speculation hit levels nobody expected. This wasn't shade, this wasn't disrespect, this was the internet trying to make sense of how deep the iceberg goes. And with this new footage causing the biggest wave yet, people began asking a question that kept echoing across TikTok and YouTube comments. Did his mom really know all this time? When the footage continued circulating, it wasn't the visuals alone that had the internet locked in. It was the context behind it.
Boy, you think it's Diddy, It's Janice Combs. Janice Combs is Bad Boy. Man, you don't actually sign to Diddy. His name is on a dotted line, but you actually sign it to Janice Combs.
Did he ever tell you why that is, or do you understand?
Oh, now that I'm older, I know exactly what it is. It's a paper trail, so nothing can come bite me. If you come for me, you ain't coming for me. I ain't got nothing. You going to my mama.
For years, Diddy built an image of being untouchable, the mogul with connections stretching from music labels to fashion houses to political rooms. Anytime whispers came out about questionable environments, industry backrooms, or exclusive gatherings, it always felt like the story vanished before it could grow legs. But this time, the footage arrived at the worst possible moment for him. Multiple lawsuits were already moving through the system. Former collaborators were beginning to step out with new stories, and even his longtime supporters were starting to fall silent. So when the clip leaked, it didn't hit like a surprise. It hit like confirmation to people who'd been sensing something off for years. The internet didn't see this as brand new information. They saw it as a curtain finally lifting on something that's been hiding in plain sight. And once that curtain moved, nothing felt the same. Commentators started revisiting past interviews where guests nervously laughed, dodged questions, or shifted in their seats whenever Diddy's name came up. Some looked back at old award show moments that, in hindsight, carried an energy folks never picked up on before. Others started pulling up receipts from producers, stylists, chauffeurs, assistants, and random partygoers who once hinted at wild scenes or uncomfortable moments behind closed doors. The suddenly louder conversation made it clear. Too many people had brushed off too many signs, but after seeing the footage, even the skeptics started rethinking their positions. Not because the video proved everything, but because it aligned with a pattern that was impossible to ignore anymore. This is also when conversations about Diddy's inner circle began intensifying. People revisited old photos and videos of his mom at events, seated beside him at ceremonies, or walking out of private functions surrounded by security and management. The internet didn't accuse her of wrongdoing. They were trying to understand proximity. Was she someone who just stood proudly by her son's side, believing in his success? Or was she someone who saw hints of chaos and simply chalked it up to the entertainment industry being the entertainment industry? Nobody knows. But the footage sparked the question because it felt too big, too polished, too long-running to not have been noticed by someone close. And yet, there's a powerful reality many viewers kept trying to remind each other of. Being a family member doesn't mean you know what's happening in every room, every night, every business deal, or every corner of an empire. Some parents know everything, some know nothing, some choose not to see, some see but don't understand, and some truly believe their child is incapable of wrongdoing. That's why the internet didn't unite in blaming her. It united in trying to figure out how much of this world was hidden, not just from the public, but from the people at the center of it. The footage didn't create a villain. It created a mystery that still hasn't been answered. As more analysts and commentators chimed in, the footage sparked a deeper conversation about celebrity protection systems, especially systems that surround powerful men in the industry. These structures aren't just made of teams and contracts. They're built from silence, loyalty, fear, opportunity, and the unspoken understanding that success often requires secrets.
Leading up to his arrest in New York last September.
You want to put the stuff in my fanny pack, King?
The exclusive video obtained by Netflix shows Combs debating with his lawyers about strategy.
Listen to me. I'm going to get off the phone right now, and I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what, no matter what nobody said. Let's just here and there, y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing.
People began pointing out how many times stars have moved through controversy untouched because the industry itself works like a shield. And when examining Diddy's career through that lens, the footage felt like the first crack in a shield that once looked impossible to break. Fans wondered, was this leak accidental, or was someone intentionally breaking that protective circle from the inside? Who benefits from exposing him now? Who loses? And who's been waiting for this moment? Then came the resurfaced clips of Diddy's mother giving encouraging speeches at events, smiling proudly in interviews, and standing next to her son during major business announcements. To fans, she always seemed like a symbol of his success, the classic story of a mother supporting her child's rise from the ground up. But now, the internet wasn't questioning her love or her loyalty. They were questioning visibility. Did she ever see something odd in the environments he curated? Did she ever question the late-night meetings, the private flights full of unfamiliar faces, the massive security presence, the sudden friendships that never lasted long? Or did she truly view it all as normal in the world of fame? These debates weren't malicious, they were human, trying to understand how a story this huge could be unfolding for years with so few people stepping forward. Many began comparing this situation to other major industry scandals where families claimed they were completely unaware of what was happening behind closed doors. History shows that sometimes that's true. Other times, families admit they saw red flags but didn't know how to interpret them. In Diddy's case, viewers started analyzing her body language in old footage like detectives, trying to decide if she looked uncomfortable, confused, protective, or oblivious. But at the end of the day, body language theories are just that, theories. Nobody online knows what she actually knew, how much she suspected, or whether she ever questioned her son's world. Still, one thing was undeniable. This footage reshaped the conversation around Diddy's legacy in a way people didn't expect. It wasn't just about the content of the video. It was about everything the video suggested. It cast a shadow over years of celebrations, collaborations, and milestones. And it forced viewers to accept that sometimes the world you admire from the outside is nothing like the world people live in on the inside. Whether his mom knew anything or not, the footage made everybody rethink how much power, fame, and influence can hide right in front of us. As the leak gained even more traction, lawyers, journalists, and investigators began weighing in. They didn't confirm anything specific about the footage, but the way they spoke about it told audiences everything they needed to know. This wasn't being brushed off. It wasn't being dismissed. It was being watched very closely. A few legal experts noted that even if footage doesn't show explicit wrongdoing, it can still serve as supporting evidence in broader investigations, depending on the context. That alone sent shockwaves through conversations online because it meant this leak wasn't just messy gossip, it had potential weight. And when something has legal potential, it always puts pressure on everyone involved, directly or indirectly. People also started wondering if the footage was the only thing out there or just the beginning, because leaks rarely happen in isolation. Usually they drop as part of a chain, either a warning, a response, or an attempt to shift public opinion before something bigger comes out. Fans speculated whether more clips existed, possibly showing more environments, more individuals, or more behind-the-scenes dynamics. Others suggested this might be a strategic release from someone who once worked close to Diddy and now feels no need to stay quiet. These theories weren't coming from nowhere. They were fueled by insider comments floating across multiple platforms, hinting that this is the tip of the iceberg. Meanwhile, discussion around Diddy's mother grew louder, but also more divided. Some argued she must have known at least a fraction of what was going on, because mothers tend to sense things even when nobody says a word. Others pushed back, reminding viewers that many parents, especially in celebrity families, see only the polished version of their child's life. They see the tours, not the after parties. They see the business meetings, not the private gatherings. They see the achievements, not the sacrifices or the shadows behind them. And in Diddy's case, he had the power and resources to keep compartments sealed. If there was something he didn't want her to see, she wouldn't have seen it. If there was something he didn't want her to hear, she wouldn't have heard it. And yet people couldn't shake the symbolic weight of her presence. She represented the beginning of his story, the foundation. So when the internet asked, did she know? They weren't really accusing her. They were grappling with the emotional impact of a narrative collapsing. Because when someone's legacy gets shaken this violently, everything connected to them gets pulled into the storm. The footage didn't just raise questions about Diddy's actions. It forced everyone following the story to reconsider the ecosystem that allowed such rumors to survive for decades without resolution. Whether or not his mother ever knew anything, her name became part of the conversation because the world is trying to understand how a story this massive stayed quiet for so long. While fans continued dissecting the footage, a new wave of discussion emerged. The role of the public in building and enabling celebrity power. Viewers started admitting that fame itself blinds people. When an artist grows into a cultural giant, fans give them so much space that red flags start looking normal. So now, with this leak leak shaking the room, folks were revisiting years of Diddy's behavior in the spotlight. The jokes, the rumors, the interviews where guests acted nervous around him, the stories that were brushed off as just entertainment. Suddenly, the internet realized how easy it is to overlook warning signs when fame takes center stage. And that's when the discussion about his mother resurfaced again. Did she overlook signs too, or were there none to overlook? Many people empathized with her, arguing that parents often believe in the version of their child they helped raise, not the version shaped by fame. To them, she may have simply seen a hard-working son, a successful businessman, someone who climbed out of nothing and built an empire. If she saw anything unusual at all, she may have chalked it up to the chaotic nature of the entertainment industry. Because let's be honest, the celebrity world operates with rules that don't apply anywhere else. At the same time, the internet couldn't ignore the emotional weight of wondering whether someone so close to him ever sensed something shifting. And because she never publicly addressed earlier rumors in detail, fans were left interpreting silence in different ways. Some as protection, some as confusion, some as simply staying out of the spotlight. But the real twist came when older comments from industry veterans resurfaced. Some suggested that several powerful figures knew about certain environments long before the public did. Others hinted that the older generation in the industry wasn't shocked by anything happening now. These comments didn't reference Diddy's mother specifically, but they made viewers question the culture around fame itself. A culture where secrets are currency, loyalty is survival, and silence is strategy. That's why the footage wasn't just a leak, it was a cultural reset. It forced everyone to question how much of the industry's shiny exterior is actually manufactured illusion. And through all the speculation, one truth remained clear. Nobody knows what Diddy's mother actually knew. The internet can theorize, analyze, and debate, but unless she chooses to speak publicly about her perspective, everything remains guesswork. Still, the emotional reaction to her name being attached to the leak reveals how deeply this story has affected people. It's not just about a clip, it's about trust. Trust in celebrities, trust in narratives, trust in the industry, trust in what we think we know about the people we watch grow into giants. And with this footage dragging old questions back to the surface, that trust has never felt more fragile. After days of non-stop conversation, the newly leaked footage did something nobody predicted. It shifted the cultural conversation from "what did Diddy do?" to "how many people knew pieces of this story all along?" That's why his mother's name keeps coming up. Not because people believe she was involved, but because she symbolizes proximity. She represents the emotional anchor of his life, the one person viewers assume would have seen a side of him the public didn't. But the uncomfortable truth is this: proximity doesn't guarantee knowledge. Families can live next to a storm without ever seeing what happens inside it. Some parents remain blissfully unaware of their child's private world, especially once fame separates that child into two versions: the public figure and the one they bring home for holidays. So while the internet keeps circling the question of whether she knew anything, the reality is that the world may never know. As investigators continue collecting statements and footage expands into the wider conversation, more people are preparing themselves for a long, messy road ahead. This won't be a quick story that fades in a week. The footage created a cultural shift, a wake-up call, and it cracked open a door that many believe won't be closing anytime soon. The industry itself is being forced to look in the mirror, and viewers are being forced to reconsider the power they give celebrities. And through it all, the speculation around Diddy's family has become a reminder that when one person's empire shakes, everyone attached to them feels the aftershock. Nobody is immune. Not colleagues, not collaborators, not rivals, not even parents. Yet despite all the unanswered questions, people aren't pointing fingers at his mother with malice. Most viewers aren't dragging her. They're trying to understand how a story this big lived under the surface for so long. The emotional weight of her name being involved comes from the human instinct to want clarity. People want to know if she ever sent something, if she ever questioned anything, if she ever worried, or if she genuinely believed her son was exactly the man he presented to the world. Until she speaks, if she ever does, the internet is left holding on to speculation, guesses, and narratives built from incomplete pieces. But that's exactly why this leak changed everything. It didn't just expose a moment, it exposed a system. a system of secrecy, silence, and power that protects certain individuals until the truth eventually forces its way into the open. Whether more footage drops or not, the world won't look at Diddy the same way again. And whether his mother knew anything or not, her name will remain part of the conversation simply because the world is trying to understand the full picture. Every connection, every shadow, every possibility. Hey, if you've been following this story and want deeper breakdowns as everything unfolds, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss an update.